Steve Herzig, that's his dad.
Oh,
That's the first one.
Students.
Yeah, Bobby Scooters.
all right, I guess we'll go over the resolutions. Number one is just the minutes. Number two is the order of claims. Building permits, number three. Number four is the twin district membership change. So hearing number five.
Authorized private improvement at Lovejoy Church. Do you need more details on that?
Number six is appointing Diane as our marriage officer. Number seven is three. Seven and 8 are yours.
Yep.
What is
You
it?
got any questions on
Oh,
those?
any questions? What?
Just announce it there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But
No,
Dave,
read it, just
you
read
got
it
any
out.
questions on those?
It's about the bids for a Ford Explorer for the highway department, and a bid for, the second bid is for F-550 four-wheel drive, trade-ins, correct?
Yeah, does anybody have any questions on that, Phil? If you do, Bobby, yeah, I want to tell you about that anyway. Bobby, come on in here. When Dino was here about 6 years ago, he talked about leasing, going on a leasing program, which the Erie County Water does, the Darien does, Amherst does, I think Tonawanda does too.
Yeah, the lease to own deal.
Lease to own deal, so we were gonna strictly lease through Dino, but then we said we got enough money to do our lease to own with the money we have in our budget every year. And Bobby's worked it out that we get to turn these vehicles in before they get too deteriorated, before they got out of warranty, and we get money out of them.
Or we have stick more maintenance money into it that way too. The idea too was, you know, well, that's fine, Danny, but another thing too, we always use the trade money to offset the cost of a new vehicle. We'd make more money if we auction it. However, auctioning, the money doesn't come back to the department. So could that be looked at? Maybe we could split the proceeds and monies go back and do the budget lines for those vehicles.
That's something we were trying to consider before, and Dave always gives us a hard time on that, but Bobby's got a point there. We get more money if you auction them off,
Yeah, probably twice or better than that.
and we would just like to split the money between our going to the general fund and some come back to the highway department. This way our line doesn't get that high, you know, the money goes right back to our department.
Well, if we can maximize the value, I'd rather do that. And
Well, that's just what we talked about for years, but it was never done. That's why I wanted Bobby to talk to you
I
too.
think what you're saying is that you could get more doing that, and
Sure.
if you guys got your value, then the rest goes to general fund, is that what you're saying?
Right, we get, you know, split it with the general fund.
Right.
Why was Dave against it the previous
I'm
time?
not quite sure. I don't know.
We could never figure that out.
Yeah.
Because we want everything to go back to the general fund.
He said something to me about that, just the Dave thing, that because it wasn't purchased in the same year, it had to
But that's
go back.
something, that's something.
That would-
It's not going back to general fund now, though, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
It does-
If you
With the
auction,
traders?
yes.
if we auction, yes.
The auction?
If you auction, you trade while you're using it against the cost of a new vehicle or piece of equipment.
But it still ends up going back to you because you're buying a new vehicle, so I don't know.
Well, the auction money always went directly to general funds again. I mean, you know, departments never saw
But you get allocated the money again for your next year budget, though, so
Yeah,
what's the difference?
Well, we keep them, that's what I mean, we keep our money in the budget, this way we don't have to increase it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, as the year goes by.
So if we can maximize getting more dollars by auctioning off, I think we're better off,
Make more sense.
Sure.
so.
So,
Yeah.
do you want-
Absolutely.
Sounds like a good
We talked about that a couple
Yeah.
years ago,
So
and
you
I remember
want-
Dave was
we
dead
talked
set
about-
against it, Johanna was against
You
it.
could sit there and like I said, you're doing it now, it's going back to you anyway, even though it's circumventing through the general fund.
Well, it's going.
You're getting less money.
Well, say you got 130 at budget line, you get, say, 50 grand in trade-in value
Right.
during a year.
Right.
You know, you
It's
actually
less,
stretch that dollar.
so it's less the general fund has to give to you then, at the end of the day, so, yeah, we can talk about this. I
We
think,
can talk about it.
Hold
The other issue
No,
is
no,
about
I don't think
what
we-
you want to spoke about, David mentioned with the lease to own program. The lease to own program wound up actually costing the town more money in finance taxes.
We visited that.
Yeah.
The bond.
Because Dave did tell me it
And
was
Well,
actually cheaper than
just so the board members know.
Oh, yeah, we did visit that at one point.
Because the
So what you're saying, do these resolutions have to be changed or no?
No, I
Just
just
continue
said there
on?
was some questions on it. I just wanted
This
to.
is just for bidding.
Yeah.
It's not
This is
for
yeah.
buying.
Just for
Okay.
bidding.
Yeah.
And the only reason I brought it up, Ronnie, is because we wanted to talk about this, because we tried to get it through with Dave for a couple times. And we talked about the lease to own a couple times, once with
Well, I
Dino was on board
I
with
think
it.
you're good
but
with
Joanna
going the other
wasn't.
way? Are you good going the other way?
Sure. Whatever
You
makes
as
the
well?
town more money.
Okay, so you have the board all saying that if we can maximize dollars going the other way, go for it.
I also like to go back to piggybacking more too, because about 3 years ago, we set up a deal with, through a vendor that was on state, well, it was actually on a Dogger County piggyback for 2 dump trucks. We ended up, because the past supervisor didn't like the idea, or I suppose I didn't have enough paperwork, I don't know. Never had a problem in the past, but we ended up bidding it out with trades this time too. Cost us $5,000 or $7,000 more.
$7,000
Yeah.
more by doing it that way, by not piggybacking.
So I mean, procurement's gonna let you, piggyback and do what you need to do. So.
Kevin, I think you looked at some of that too, that NG.
Yeah, anytime you piggyback, you gotta, the paperwork's a pain, but you gotta paper to file, you gotta support your
And
decision.
those last 4 years been a lot of extra paperwork.
But it saved us a lot, would have saved us a lot of money.
No, and I'm not saying it wouldn't, but anytime you go to piggyback, you
Right.
gotta make sure that,
We're just trying to look around and find the best value.
Yeah.
And best,
Yeah.
best deal.
It's just so you know, Bobby specs out all the equipment, that's why I wanted him, he specs everything out for us.
All right,
Sometimes he overspecs, but that's okay. He get a good deal.
put the reins on it.
No, he does a good job, he does a great job. He
Okay,
gets complimented by vendors.
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And we should do the same then for.
Yeah, nine and 10 is the same, except it's for the parks. So kind of same ordeal, we'll go that way. Okay.
Because Bobby spec those out, right?
Okay, number 11 is setting a public hearing for, actually, this is to reduce the speed limit by Cayuga Heights Elementary School on Como Park Boulevard to 25 miles an hour.
By Como Park School.
Cayuga Heights.
Cayuga Heights by Como Park Boulevard.
Or Cayuga Heights, yeah.
Yeah, Cayuga Heights, Como Park Boulevard.
Well, we changed those signs early.
yeah, the signs are already up, we just, in order
Yeah.
to enforce them, we have to change the code.
Yeah.
Number 12 is stop signs. That's a public hearing for that. Number 13 is the implementation committee, and this is just putting me on as the board member.
Is this a committee that already existed?
Yes, we have to take, it has to be a member of the board.
Who handles the administrative costs?
This is all free, there's no,
So
do
they're
you
gonna
meet once a
keep the
year, I
minutes
think?
called once a year?
Well, we did it 4 times last year.
4 times, yeah.
Probably do another 3 or 4 times this year, but there's no cost to it. It's an hour-long meeting. It's every,
Nobody keeps the minutes, or?
I keep the minutes. But they're very,
And it's made up of the resident and just a variety of people on this.
I keep the minutes, I do a quick agenda. But it's just, it's an oversight committee
George is on it.
with respect to the comprehensive plan, make sure that all the three
More or
municipalities
less
work together.
advisory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's advisory, there's no voting or anything on it?
No.
Number 14?
14 is the, allowing us to be the lead agency of Wyckoff.
Yep.
And the Stuffman Road subdivision that's proposed. It's not telling we're going for it, it's just one that's telling us that we're gonna be the lead.
It's a requisite step under secret.
And I think by law, we're required to take this action.
It's probably smart that we be the lead
Yeah.
in this.
Number 15 was various officials for legislating, amending the Star real property tax.
Actually, on this one, I'd like to amend a couple of words in there, because words are meaning. I've never seen the New York State bill where it talks about this. Would you have any objections to any paragraph where it says, be it resolved at the end there, supports the New York State bill? Change it to get rid of that and put the amendment to the existing property law, tax law? Because we've never seen.
I'm going to defer to my attorney on this.
Yeah,
We've never
that's-
seen the bill.
Yeah, that's, I mean, if you feel more comfortable voting that way, that's fine, yeah.
Okay,
It's not a big change.
great.
Yeah.
So I need the language then, because I'm going to be reading the resolution. Is it the resolved, right, that part?
You're getting rid of the words New York State bill at
Yes.
the end. And we're adding, supports the amendment to the existing property tax law.
Okay. And number 16. Bob, that's you.
That's you.
Oh, sorry.
Any questions?
Request bids for reconstruction of Drury Street culvert over branch of Plum Bottom Creek. Anybody need more information on that one?
I know.
Good.
Please have the opportunity to issue a floodplain development permit for the project so we can monitor it and then close it out properly. Just for record keeping.
So do we need to add that?
No, we can put the blank, Jeff Blank calling
Right.
Jeff Blank calling for
Just want to make sure
you.
that we're a part of that process as it moves forward.
So there's nothing wrong with this amendment or this resolution? Okay.
This again is the town putting a code into the village.
'17, award a bid for consolidated water district system improvement, contract number TLN-9B to New Frontier Excavating and Paving Incorporated. Again, I don't have a problem with this. I looked at the, there's a $7 million bond out there. Currently went through in 2016 and amended in 2018. Does anybody know if this adds any actual cost onto our budget next year?
Actually, to be honest with you, the bid came in 550,000 under the estimate.
Excellent. Okay.
Bob, so you know, it'll, you agree with me, I'm sure. We let these jobs out to bid this time of year because we get better prices now.
Okay.
That's why we always look at the jobs out to bid in January, early February, because we get the best prices. And when he said that, what was the next lowest bid?
They were 1.2 something, and the next one was like 1.8.
Yeah, so you say, well, we say when we let the jobs out this time of year.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, number 18 is, actually, this is a preventive maintenance contract that we're doing the sprinklers. Number 19 is our annual tree planting program, where we're going out to purchase some trees.
Can I make a comment on 18? I'm sorry,
Sure.
Ralph, but I can have the copies of the test reports of the internals on the sprinkler system. It is preventative maintenance, but it's also required in a timely fashion as it pertains to the fire code and all of its minimum standards. So
We're
I
on-
just copied it.
Okay, we're on preventative maintenance, they come out twice a year,
Yeah.
and this is some of the deficiencies that have to be
Okay.
done.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And move on to number 20, and that's to authorize aid of New York State Agricultural Markets Companion Animal Capital Project Fund. 21 is setting our town hall hours.
Okay, question on that one.
21, yeah.
Yeah. Talking to a few people, have we looked at how much overtime this is going to cost the
No.
departments to do this?
None whatsoever. They're staffed well enough. The only department that's 8:30 to 4:30 is the attorney, because they only have one person. But there's people that are in these departments that they're balancing their schedules. I talked to every department.
Okay, department heads all agree with that, or?
Well, in the tax office, we're going to accrue quite a bit of overtime. During the tax season, during the actual collection, which is full time except for about a month and a half. I can't, well, what we do in the clerk's office is, I just have one person coming in from 8 to 9, because it's not a real
Right.
busy time. But in the tax office, during collection, I can't have just one person in there collecting. Because if I advertise it that we're opening at 8, there could be, 10 people here, or, one person. And the amount of money is a lot bigger there collecting than, a $13 dog in the clerk's office. So I would have to have at least 2 people. And I can't have, and during collection, everyone stays to the end. We have our doors open until, we're open at 5, they're open at 5. And then we have to go through and reconcile the cash and the charges and the checks. So we never get out at 5. Well, today we did, but as it gets busier, we won't. I can't have somebody come in at 8 and leave at 4 during collection. So where it works in the clerk's office, the more that I thought about this, it's not gonna work in the tax office without a lot of overtime.
Well, you should have said something earlier.
I know, I was thinking about it this weekend, and Bob asked me about something else, and so we were talking about that.
When we did talk about it, you basically told me it would not create any issues. So we need to
In the
change
clerk's
that.
office.
So we need,
Well, the problem in the tax, I just have an issue with the tax office. I
okay,
can't think of a way to do it that's not
do we
gonna
amend
cost.
9 to 5 for the tax office then?
I would. I think we would have to. And I
So
don't know if
we'll-
any other,
We'll add another resolve in here.
we had further resolved.
Well, it's gonna be resolved, 8 to 5. Also, we have to put up here, with the exception of the town.
Could you-
And the tax office, okay, in the first resolve, and tax office. Okay? Be open from 8 to 5. And then we'll have to add another, be further resolved. And then it'll be 9 to 5. It'll repeat the second one
Right,
for the tax office.
okay,
Okay?
yeah, thanks.
And there's no other offices in here that are affected?
So if I can only just put a comment in, when the building department is staffed at the correct level for the workload, it should be able to accommodate the full spectrum of hours with the 7-hour shift.
Do you anticipate any overtime before it gets up to staffing?
Not if we're properly staffed.
Thank you.
Number 22, it allows some officers to attend the Tactical Officer Training Conference in Berlin, New York. Number 23 is appointing the Youth Bureau tutor, part-time. 24 is reappointing a senior part-time permanent van driver. Number 25 is appointing a rec department person. Number 26 is adopting the salary schedule change for our parks crew chief.
Okay, were we gonna discuss that after this meeting, or is this what we're going with at this point? 'Cause
This is the raise that the unions received.
Okay, I think I've made it clear before, I think it should be higher. We need to discuss that afterwards, or, I mean, again, if I can't get the votes to do it, I'll vote for this, I don't want her to have nothing, but.
Right, well, that's why I put it on. She deserves a raise.
Right,
She's getting
absolutely,
it.
it's a step in the right direction, but I don't think we're quite there.
Number 27 is a membership roster change for Twin District. Number 28 is the authorization for these are the 2 automotive mechanics in Danny's department. There's 3 people in there doing the job. 2 are assistants are doing the same work. So we're taking the proper steps to create the positions, and then we'll put the people in there next meeting. Those 2 positions will not be backfilled, the other
Right,
2.
right.
They pretty much, do you have to take them away, or do you stay in there? What do you want to do with those?
I'm not sure, I think the county personnel would stay, but,
They're going to be zeroed out, so.
yeah, we're gonna be here, but we're gonna be there, right?
Okay, number 29?
I just got a couple questions. I know the 29, we're adding the caretaker, and I know we had a meeting the 26th, at least some of us did before we were sworn in on that. We interviewed how many candidates?
We advertised on a town website, plus we put out an advertisement on Indeed. We received 1 off the town website, which we interviewed. We received like 10 off of Indeed, but 8 were either not qualified or not a resident. We had 2 more candidates that we interviewed. 1 failed to show up and the other one was interviewed. So we interviewed 3, called in
We interviewed 2 total.
2, but called in 3 for interviews.
And we did not place an ad in the Bee at all?
No, we did Indeed and the town website.
I'd like to say that next time we put an advertisement in the Bee for this too. And his supervisor, his or her supervisor will be,
Me.
okay?
And and the lieutenants, and Marco will oversee also. Correct, chief?
Yes.
Okay, and is the hours we're working at?
The hours we're looking at is whatever works for the police department and us for training, between the hours of 7 and 5, and it'd be a 35-hour week. So for now, we would like them to start at 7 so we can train them, and then to whatever works for the police department.
Okay, and we also agreed, I think, when we talked, that he'd be available to, Danny had any work, basically for the whole compound?
Correct.
I mean, nobody really cleans the OEM building right now because unless we have to go over there for a reason, but, you know, Ronnie can use somebody over there to help clean up too. Westwell will send somebody over to vacuum and clean up when he's got stuff going on, but we can use it throughout the whole complex.
Plus, the recreation laborers have been filling in since they've been without a person, and it's a lot of work. It's like 2 of them have been over there for like 5 hours a day.
Okay, so we're gonna still continue to support the new person with the rec staff whenever.
When he needs vacation, and we'll fill in just like we have been doing over the last few weeks.
I got the applications for
I have, yeah.
Also, there was a question that it needed the clearance from the CSEA white collar to add the job title into the union, which I did receive today, so it is okay with the union to add it into it.
And the professional service contract we had before this was not in the budget, correct?
Correct,
So we have the money in the budget for this position?
correct.
It was passed last budget?
It was yes, it was passed in November.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I back up for 1 second on the highway, the mechanics? Can we just, you're gonna talk about it when you give it, right? Because there was some confusion with the general public. I heard some things, they weren't sure what was going on. So we could just explain that. I'm perfectly good with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we negotiated the contract last year. We know we had enough money in the budget, okay? Donnie's was the head mechanic out there. He came to me, the union came to me, Daryl's here too. And they said, look, if these guys are all doing the same work, they should get the same amount of money. We just can't do that without creating the PO 17 in the county. So that's why this has to go on to create that PO 17.
And I've been completely on board. There's just some confusion. I know that I've heard from different people. So if you could just explain it, I think would be good for transparency purposes.
The suspended resolutions, the first one, actually, it's a good news story. The lighting project is about to begin with the LEDs. This is actually for the nodes and stuff like that. So there's a contract that's been sitting that this gives me the authority to sign the contract so they can move forward with this.
Yeah. Been around since July, August.
Yeah. I found that I met with Wendell Friday, and they came in with the agreement, still waiting for it to be signed. So that's why this is suspended.
Okay, the actual changing of the streetlights when they go, are we gonna take care of that ourselves, or?
I'm planning up some training for guys to get certified to do that type of work. I talked to Dan Curtis the other day, and we'll post it. I'm sure Michelle will get some guys in Michelle's department will sign up for the bucket truck training. Might want to sign up, you guys in our department. But I would probably go to the maintenance guys first, and that's why we bought the new bucket truck we did 2 years ago, so we could change the streetlights. We were, projecting it ahead.
One of the good things about this is that they're not going to need as much maintenance as the older types.
And we can respond to people. I mean,
Right.
if someone was here for the supervisor's office, tell you people call their light's been out for 6 months, 7 months, nothing was done. I mean, now we'll be able to respond to residents right away.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
And 31 is the dispatcher. Chief Carr?
Yes, we're appointing a dispatch, public safety dispatcher. This will bring us up to all that was budgeted for last year, so.
And the reason why it's suspended is because this person needed to give 2 weeks' notice. They're not starting until February 6th,
Yes.
but this allows them to properly give the 2 weeks' notice. So, because we were going to have this on the next meeting. So I hope she helps her out. It helps her out, basically. Yeah. Anybody else want to speak here at all?
Is there an executive session after?
Oh, yes, there will be an executive session on a personnel matter in the house.
like to point out, next week, the tree code officials will be attending the conference being held for a 24-hour in-service training to maintain our certifications. The 2 demolition orders are progressing. I'm hoping to have resolutions ready to present to the board probably at the next meeting.
And the quotes are due this week, so.
Right, and there was a setback in the LA court enforcement action with the, as far as the zombie property laws. Recently, we were notified by the Department of Financial Services that the property is now up to date with the mortgage payments, so they kind of rescinded their foreclosure action against it, so we may be visiting this property in another fashion for enforcement.
Danny, you want to talk about the drainage hydrologist real quick?
We had a meeting, when was it? I can't remember, but with Morano. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And they got that problem down at Pear Tree, I think everybody's familiar with. But we went on a GIS and we kind of traced it all the way to going to the west. We keep moving the problem farther and farther to the west. I did talk to actually Kristen on the planning board about it, and we really have to, I think, if you agree with me or not, we should probably get a hydrologist and maybe do an aerial study of the south end of town. Ed and I had talked about that. I think it's in the best interest of the town we do something like that. Because we've got a major problem, we really do. I think we do. They may disagree or agree.
I agree, but I thought we would have a meeting prior to,
Yeah.
to having this discussion. The reality is the Pear Tree development, it wasn't built right.
Right.
They didn't build it the way it was designed, and it got pushed through, and they added stuff after the fact, and it's creating a major problem for your street.
But even what we do is still going to push the water farther to the west, and we have to
We
address
build it
it.
as designed, it doesn't happen, but you definitely have drainage issues in town that need to be resolved. I prefer to deal with this through the.
Yeah, well, we'll have the meeting, but I think we should still look into hydraulics, because if you look farther and farther, the information I got from Elma bothers me.
And you're gonna get some recommendations after the meeting as to how we can
Yeah,
stop this.
I believe it's gonna be for Friday. I
Friday.
didn't back into the emails to confirm the Friday morning.
Friday morning's
We'll
fine.
meet Friday morning and then present something perhaps on a work session night to the committee,
And as far as
just to
Pear
get it
Tree,
out there. And
as far as Pear Tree, we're waiting for,
Right.
Ryle's engineer to get back to us. That's the.
I'm still of the contention to build it the way it was approved.
Provide us some options there.
A couple things I want to note. The dog shelter grant went through, so
Got submitted.
it's been submitted, yeah. So that's, well, sorry.
I'm submitted.
Well, there was, well, we had a deadline on it, and we certainly didn't want to miss out on that. It's a 75% grant. Jean did some great work on going out to, actually she went and visited some other shelters. We had to put a couple more cages in there, I believe, at the end of the day to be more compliant. So yeah, hopefully that goes our way. Secondly, Danny and I actually went out to visit some parkland, 71 acres worth on Broadway and Schwartz. Possibly to look into maybe putting soccer and lacrosse and walking, similar to what we want to do on Lake. But I talked to Bernie, our grant writer, there are grants available for this. But we got to get going on it. So just want to see if you guys are in favor of going for something like this. We'd have to go out and get an appraisal. Everyone good with this? Okay, Danny, would you mind going to, contacting a few appraisers and see to get some pricing on appraisals for us, please? And then we'll pick the best, lowest.
We had looked at that,
Responsible bidder.
when Don was here, we looked at that a few years ago when it wasn't for sale, but now I guess he doesn't want to sell it.
Yeah, there's a few things that we're gonna need.
Southeast corner?
No, northeast
Yes, the
corner.
northeast corner, across from the cemetery.
What's nice about this piece, there's not a lot of trees on it, it's not a lot
Yeah,
of
it's clear,
trees.
it's clear land, we were out and took a look at it the other day. It'll need some, a little bit of development and stuff like that, but nothing, no clearing the trees. But we have to get a few things that we have to get in order, the letter of intent to sell, we have to have an appraisal. So there's a list of things that I received from the grant writer that we need to apply for this grant. So I'd rather get kicking on this early so we don't,
Northeast corner?
it's the northeast corner.
Was there a conversation had with the owners of the property?
There was by Actually, by someone from the drill talked to him, and then someone from soccer called talked to him too.
Okay, so I just recall the conversation a couple of months ago about subdividing property and what the requirements were.
So the grant itself, do we know that, well, we don't know if it's gonna be 100%, 75, or whatever it is. We'll just take it
Is
step
it
by
right
step.
on the corner?
What you need to do with these
Is it
things,
right
to
on the
get
corner?
the bang for your buck, like, you wanna make it,
Oh, it's the
say, the
lot.
soccer courts for one thing, but you also want to put like a walking trail, because that allows you to, it allows you to get, the more use that you get out of it, the more it's gonna, basically it's gonna get more points to get awarded. Yeah, we gotta get going, guys.